So the next developer that we're going to talk about is one of the OGs. This is a classic. I don't care who you are. They're a shell of their former selves today,
Mhm.
but their former selves were glorious. We're talking
Could this
about
developer be your favorite?
probably going to be Rare because I have
Okay.
like I mean these guys made some excellent titles. This is probably my number two off the top of
Okay.
my head.
Okay.
But I mean, Rare holds just such a special place in my heart. But these guys made just I mean, when you talk about NES, this is if you're not talking about a Nintendo made game, you're probably talking about not Capcom, the other one, Konami. And
Hmm.
Konami made so many excellent NES games, especially during that period of time. And they made some great ones on Super Nintendo, of course, as well. What's your favorite Konami game?
Ooh. Oh man, Konami did so many great titles. But I have to say, I think Konami is going to be most known for Turtles.
For
They
that period of time?
they
Or
did
just in
Turtles, yeah.
general?
Because they did Turtles. They did Turtles for Super NES.
I mean,
They
that was
did
that was Turtles in Time. That was like
Turtles in Time.
probably the
Yep.
best version of any of those Turtles games.
They did Turtles Hyperstone Adventures for the Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
You
Another good
know,
game.
so yeah, Turtles. You say Konami, a lot of people are going to automatically think Turtles. They're going to think, especially for the arcade, they're going to think Simpsons. They're going to think X Men. You say Konami,
Konami did the Simpsons one too?
the Simpsons arcade game. Oh yeah,
That was Konami?
that was Konami.
Man, I don't think I was aware of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're friggin' man, they made so many great games.
but
I
on the
would
home market, yeah, I'd say Turtles. Um, I'd
I
say
would have to
Turtles.
disagree with you. I think Turtles would have been the best, or the most recognizable back then, but now I would say it's Metal Gear.
True. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think Metal. This is coming from me. I don't care about Metal Gear at all. I don't like Metal Gear. Not interested in Metal Gear. I've
At
tried.
all?
No, I played. I gave Metal Gear multiple tries, multiple versions, multiple systems, and I always had a problem with the controls. So it's just out the window for me. I don't care. I'm over it.
Ooh.
But I know that's like the most. Today is probably like the most beloved thing that they've done. So
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. 3, everybody raised 3 is like the best Snake Eater. I really love like Metal Gear Solid and Part 2 a lot.
yeah, I mean, if I think I tried to play part two before. I think I played. Correct me if I'm wrong, but on original Xbox there was Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Was that
Yes.
original Xbox?
Yes.
So I played that where somebody was like, "Oh, it's Metal Gear Solid 2, but the controls are fixed. The camera is better." No, it wasn't. They lied. It was slightly better than a pile of crap. So, but that's why I can
Well,
never get into those games.
okay. Well, Metal Gear holds a spot in just about every gamer's heart because Solid Snake. Who? Why? It's Solid Snake. Who doesn't like Snake?
I'm a minority, but
Mm,
it's not that I don't like Snake. It's just that I don't like the gameplay. So
okay. Okay. Um, One of my favorite Konami games, it has to be Silent Hill.
now this is another series I never played before, but I need to. I like this is
Ugh.
something I'd be interested in actually giving a shot because I don't know that I've ever even started a Silent Hill game before.
Silent Hill 1 was, that game was scary. That game was so scary. You had these little shadow babies that was like walk around when you're in a certain section and you couldn't do anything to them. They wouldn't do anything to you. They were just there and they just like freaked me out. Silent Hill was, it came on the heels of Resident Evil, but
Yeah, this came out what maybe like a year or two after the first Resident
after
Evil.
but it was the scare factor was turned way up. It was twisted. And
Really,
then we
it's
got,
scarier than Resident Evil.
I want to say, yeah.
Oh wow.
And then we got the second one, which was far better than the first one. And I love the first one. But the graphics were better because it came out on the more powerful systems, PS2. And story wise, it was great. We got the introduction of Pyramid Head, and it was just twisted.
I wanted to go back and play some of these, and I've recently like looked at getting there's a Silent Hill HD collection that came out during the
Mm-hmm.
Xbox 360 and PS3 era,
Yep.
and I was looking around and getting one. I found one for under $20. I was like, okay, it's brand new, under $20.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started reading the reviews, and like apparently they did like a botched port job, and like it's like a broken. It's not completely broken, but it's like you should just go play the originals.
Play the
So
original.
I was like, man, all I want to do is spend $20, get the first two games or whatever's in that collection, and check it out. And now I'm just like, well, if they're botched, I got to go back and buy the originals. And I don't know if you guys have gone back and checked the prices of the PS1 games, but Jesus God,
Man.
it's like it's probably $250 if you want 1 and 2, something like that.
Something like that. Because I think I sent you a text. I'm like, I took a picture because someone in the store traded in Silent Hill 1 for PlayStation, 2, 3, and 4. And I was like, hey, are you interested in these? You remember I sent you that picture?
Yeah, I remember, and they were all like over $100. I'm like, no,
Yeah, they were.
no,
Yeah, they were.
you're trying to get $100. No offense, your prices are correct. Like that's what the going rate is for. So I'm not saying anything against the prices. I'm just like it's a greatest hits game. They were selling that game for $20 in 1990. Come
Yes,
on,
they
man.
were.
Like, come on. Like, I can't do it. I can't justify it in my mind.
They are definitely sought after.
Granted, I just bought a Super Nintendo game for $150, so who knows, I should shut up, I guess, because I'm not making any damn sense.
need to get that Silent Hill love, man. But
One
that,
day. One
all
day.
right, but we also had Silent Hill, but then there's another series that's beloved by millions of people, and that is Castlevania.
Now we're talking, man.
Castlevania.
Now we are cooking with some fire. Like, so I'm a late bloomer to Castlevania. I really didn't start playing these games till around like GBA. That was my
Mhm.
first experience with them, and I never beat like hardly any of them. I played them for a while. They were good. They were fun. They were
You
something to
talk
fill
about
some
like
time.
Aria Sorrow and stuff.
Yeah, I had Aria Sorrow and Circle the Moon, and then
Mm-hmm.
I got. I'm always missing one of those trilogies. So there was 3 on GBA. I'm missing. I think it's like Harmony of something on GBA, and then there's 3 on DS, and I'm missing
Mm-hmm.
one of the one like the middle one. I'm always missing the middle one. I get the first one and I get the third one. I'm missing whatever the second one was on DS, and those games are freaking awesome, man. And like if you go, I went back later and I played the classic ones like from the original Nintendo, and they're good. They're
Mm-hmm.
good. They're all
They're
good
great.
games.
I think what changed Castlevania was Symphony of the Night, though. When they released Symphony of the Night on PlayStation,
My God,
man, people lost their minds. That was
I'm
so good.
I went back and played this later. My first experience was playing this on the PlayStation Vita, and it was it was just a port. It was great. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorite games now. Like that specific style of game. Like there's like a series called Bloodstained. They made Ritual of the
Mm-hmm.
Night, came out a couple
Yep.
years ago. Dude,
Yep.
it was like a sequel to Castlevania.
I agree. Yeah, it was definitely a spiritual successor.
It was. I wouldn't say it was as good, but it was damn good. Like if you like those styles of games, you guys need to hop on that.
All right. Well, since we're talking about Castlevania, what's your take on the Nintendo 64 ones, the 3D ones?
Didn't play them, don't care. I need that
Okay.
2D goodness.
Well, what about the God of War like ones that they released for 360 and PS3?
Didn't play them, don't care.
Okay.
I just need them in. I need them in 2D, man.
Okay.
Like I don't even have. I have some of them because I got them on like Xbox or somewhere. They weren't very
Mm-hmm.
expensive, and I might play them one day. But I'm really just like, but if you're like, oh man, it's like uh, it's like the old school ones, like from the Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's like the PS1 one. Oh my god, what the hell's the name of it? You just mentioned it.
Symphony of the Night.
Symphony 9. Oh my god, mind is melted. If it's like that style of game, those are the ones I'm down for.
Okay. You just like the traditional side-scrolling left to right gameplay. Okay.
Yeah, man. Did you play the 3D ones? Did you like those ones at all?
They were very God of War like type games. They were okay. Yeah.
We already have a God of War. We need Castlevania to be Castlevania.
True. 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 I guess that's why we got Bloodstain.
Oh yeah. Hope they're gonna do another Bloodstain too, so I can't wait for that. I want to go back to the old school ones real quick. So the first game that I remember playing was a Konami game, and that was Frogger. That's the first game I really remember playing on the Atari
Mhm.
2600, and I had a blast with that game. It was so much fun. I think I played at my aunt's house. They had like Frogger and Pitfall. Pitfall was fine. Frogger was my jam though, man. That's all I wanted to do was play some Frogger.
Frogger. Everybody loved playing Frogger in the arcade. It was easy. Well, I won't say it was easy. It was simple
It was simple
to
to
play.
understand.
Correct.
It was like, oh, you just make him go over there, just don't die. Oh, okay. But yeah,
Jumping on the
man,
turtle's back and the logs and catching a fly and
definitely like those games back then were just different, like that, and like Pac-Man and stuff, dude. Those games are timeless classics that will never get old. Never. I still
never.
play Frogger to this day.
Do you really?
I had it on my 360. That version's
Mm-hmm.
available on my Xbox One, which is now available on my Series X. So yeah, I can go play Frogger right now if I want to.
Okay.
But I do play it probably once a year at least, like at a minimum.
Okay, that's good.
Hell yeah, man! You gotta stay with it, you know. What about Contra? How do you feel about Contra?
Man, Contra, that's another classic, man. That's
Most
another
certainly is.
classic. And I love shooters. It was a running gun shooter, insanely difficult. I think every Contra game I have touched, I have never beaten because they are so incredibly hard.
I don't think that the first Contra is as hard as like I think Super C is probably harder than the first Contra, and I think that Contra Hardcore is one of like the hardest games I've ever played in my life. Like I don't even understand
Yes.
how that game is possible. Like I want to watch somebody speed run that game and just have my mind blown because that game is ridiculous.
It is. It was, man, that game is so hard. So hard. Even with
Did
the
you
codes.
did you have the opportunity back in the day to play Contra in the arcades? Did you ever do that?
I did.
I never played the arcade version.
I
Was
did.
it pretty similar to the NES version, or was it like
It
a lot
was.
better?
I mean, of course, the graphics, it was an arcade machine, so the graphics looked better and cleaner.
Right.
The gameplay was pretty much spot on to what you would expect. They didn't change the mechanics of what Contra was. I mean, it wasn't, I'm thinking because it wasn't made by Konami, but the Genesis had Midnight Resistance, which was their Contra clone.
Yep. I never played that one either. I think I had that actually. I think I got like a loose cart like for free
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere.
It's Contra.
It's Contra. I might have to go back and check that out then,
It's
man.
Contra. But I think, I'm trying to think, I think my favorite Contra game would have to be for Super Nintendo, Alien War.
Yeah, I got that maybe. I think I got that about 2 years ago. I just never got around to playing it. Like I got the cart and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that's the best version?
I think that's probably my favorite Contra of all the Contra games. That's probably my favorite Contra game.
I mean, is it for me? Would it be playable for someone who can't play hardcore, but I can play like the original
Y-
just fine?
yes,
Okay.
I want to say it's the difficulty is turned down just a little bit from hardcore,
Oh.
but it's still difficult. I mean, it's still the one hit kills, you know. But it on the Super Nintendo, it looked really nice. It was colorful. The soundtrack was great. It sounded well. That's probably my favorite Contra of. I'm just trying to think because we got a couple Contra remakes over the years, but that's always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, they made like a over the top version of Contra or something like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It got terrible reviews. It looked awful, Wes. It didn't even look like a Contra game. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Just make another Contra game.
Yeah, what was
Why
that? Contra Rogue something?
Rogue Core? Rogue Ops?
I
Rogue
I
Ops.
bought I bought it. It's
Oh,
Contra.
Wes.
You know you know me. It was Contra. I was like, oh, new Contra game. I'm buying it.
Oh, dude.
I know, and I did play it, but I was like, eh.
It wasn't Contra. It just said it on the box. That's all.
It really wasn't.
No. They gotta stop messing around with this stuff, man. You gotta stick to what's good. And what else is good is Rocket Knight Adventure, which is a classic Sega Genesis title.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, this is probably top tier Genesis, right? Like this is probably in most people's top
Mm-hmm.
10 lists, I would imagine, if you've ever played the game.
You know what? I don't know because it was. I don't think a lot of people know what Rocket Knight Adventures was or
Well,
still
that's what I said.
is.
If you played the game, it's probably in your
Okay.
top 10. But if you didn't, you probably never even heard of it, or you probably would have looked at the box at a rental store and been like, I'll
Yeah. What's
pass.
this? No, it is definitely one of Konami's shining moments for the Genesis.
It's like a platformer,
I wouldn't say it's a platformer.
but it's really fantastic. And there's like unique power ups.
Hmm.
Graphically, this is one of the best looking Genesis games, like hands down.
I agree with that.
Now, there's three other titles we have on our list that we came up with. I'm going to mention one of them pretty briefly. Pro Evolution Soccer was unbelievably important. I would say in
Hmm.
the early 2000s. This game
Hmm.
was kicking the crap out of FIFA. Like you can't imagine that today, but this game was beating the crap out of FIFA for a number of years. The game was better than FIFA
Hmm.
because I was playing a lot of soccer games at that time, and Pro Evolution was like a step above, and it actually made FIFA step up their game and create a better game after getting their butt kicked, a few years in a row by Pro Evolution, or at that time it was called Winning 11 Soccer.
Winning a lot. Yeah. Oh man, I remember people coming into the store. When FIFA and Pro Evolution came out, or like you said, Winning 11, and people would gravitate towards Pro Evolution automatically.
It was a better game.
It
It was
was.
designed better. They had like that game is like nothing now, but at the time it was serious competition to FIFA and made FIFA 10 times better. Like it really
Hmm.
did. It took a few years, but FIFA became incredibly better because they were getting their butt beat so bad by Pro Evolution. Let's mention this one because it's a little bit more of a minor title. Like kids today are gonna have no idea what the hell this game is. Not a clue. So, and I don't care about RPGs. So, Wes, tell me what you think about Suikoden 1 and 2.
1 and 2. You know what? When they came out when the first one came out on PlayStation, it was it was riding the wave because wasn't a lot of RPGs at the time, and from if I'm not mistaken, Final Fantasy VII wasn't out yet, so people were just hungry for RPGs.
These
But
were PS1 games, then, is that right?
PS1, correct?
Okay.
And I think what made Suikoden so popular was the amount of characters that each game had. I want to say it was like 108 characters you can find and have join your party.
Wow. That's
Yeah, it
crazy.
was it was a lot. It was a lot, and then part two came out and even added to that. So that was the whole attraction to Suikoden is just getting the amount of people in your party. It was a grind fest. It was a
so,
grind fest.
so Final Fantasy was a better game. This was a good RPG, but not
It
at the
was oh
same
yeah.
level. Like,
It wasn't Final Fantasy VII level, but it was really good. It was really good.
yeah, was it turn based? I'm guessing it probably
Yes.
was from back then. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think just about everything was turn based.
I know. Unfortunately, I'm not the turn based fan. Um,
While we're sitting here, I just want to throw one that we haven't talked about. It's not on our list, but it just popped into my head. Track and field.
oh yeah, that was Konami.
That was yeah. I'm
Did
sitting here
you?
thinking like, you know what? Track and field.
This was another game that I only experienced on the NES, and it was a solid game on the NES, but it was probably, I'd imagine, much better in the arcade. I'm assuming you probably have some sort of familiarity with the arcade version.
I do. Played the arcade, and then when it came out on PlayStation, I was
Came
like
out on
all about it.
PlayStation?
Track and field, yes.
Are you serious?
I want to say it was International Track and Field. But yes, it was made by Konami. Because remember, Konami had their little sports line,
Yeah. Man, I
Track
didn't
and
know that
Field.
came out on PS1, though. That's nuts.
Yes, it did. Yes, it
Interesting.
did. It was fun. But I just want a quick little passing.
Oh, of course, man. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention is a true revolution that Konami built. and that is Dance Dance Revolution. I mean, this was everywhere. Probably, when do you think this started? Like 1998, 1999?
No, was it? No way. Was it?
No, it was on PS1, brother. PS2 came out in 2001, right? Didn't
Yeah.
PS2 come out in 2001? So this had to be 98, 99.
Or was
Maybe
it
2000.
Or was it 2000? Because I know Dreamcast was 99, Xbox was 2001. Oh, maybe.
Okay. Let's say 99 or 2000. It
Oh
had to
yeah,
be
you know
right
what?
around
Okay,
there.
that's right, because it was on PS1. All
It
right.
was. The first one was on PS1. Maybe even 2 was on PS1. I don't remember. But even before then, it would have been out in the arcades. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not crazy to say 1998 or
Yeah, that's
1999.
true. That just seems so long ago.
It was so long ago.
All right,
But
Matt, tell the truth. You was getting your Dance Dance on, wasn't you?
not in public. I don't think I ever played the game once in public, but I had dance pads. I had the game. That game was a blast to play. And it was like the first time I was like, man, I feel like I'm actually like probably losing some weight playing this game because I'm sweating my ass off right now. But it was fun, man. I didn't care. Like it had like a lot of poppy songs and stuff, but it was
Uh-huh.
a lot of fun to play. And I got pretty good at it at one point, but I certainly wasn't going to an arcade and playing that. There's no way in hell. I'm
Man,
not doing that.
watching people in the arcade they were so good. They were amusing just to watch because they were so good.
There's people turning around, they're not even looking at the screen, and they're just nailing it, and just like, what the hell is this? What are you talking about, man? They just had the rhythm down, you know?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
play it? Did you have any experience doing
No, that was not me. That was not my thing.
it?
We bought Dance Dance and I bought Pump It Up. And my kids would play it. They would play it all the time, but nah, me nah.
Was Pump It Up the Mad Catz version of Dance Dance Revolution? Is that what that
N-
was? Because I think they
No,
made a
it was a
no.
totally different company. It was another dance game that had its pad, different music, different, all licensed music and everything, but it was different. It's called Pump It Up.
But Mad Catz made the pads, didn't they? I remember Mad Catz being involved with
Did
that.
they?
I
I
think
don't
they
know.
did. Or you know what? They were making third party accessories.
Correct.
Maybe they made third party dance pads. That might be a possibility.
Okay. Yeah. But where I live, they just opened up like a new arcade. It's called Lucky Snake. It's in the Showboat in Atlantic City.
That's
And it's
awesome.
it's it's part retro, part new stuff, but they have like two dance machines in there. And people are always on them.
Yeah, man. I bet they are. That's fun
People
for
are
all
always
ages.
on them to this day.
We'll get you on there one day.
Yeah, no, you
We'll
ain't.
shoot a video of you.
No, you ain't.
We'll pop on see if they got some prints on there for you. Oh man, no, Dance Dance was fun. You guys should check it out. It was of the time for sure. I love all those games, man. Like Guitar Hero, Rock Band. Oh man, those were my shit. Those were so good.
Yeah, there you are.